Good morning and welcome to this end of the week manna. I apologize that I was not able to get the midweek manna videos off, or video rather, off on Wednesday morning or Thursday morning, not even Thursday night. It just seems like we've just had a few obstacles that were in our way. But nevertheless, manna is here and it is at the end of the week and it's probably just right on time because of what we need to hear. Recently I had a day off earlier this week. My wife and I took the day off earlier this week. It was Tuesday, and so we were doing some things around the house, and one of the things that we had to do was to shred some old documents, some old papers that we had accumulated, and we wanted to, use our trusty, nifty paper shredder. So as we are shredding all of these documents, all of a sudden the shredder stopped working. And now this is a shredder that says that it could shred up to 20 pages at a time. Now, I'm not the guy that tries to test the theory. I am the guy that maybe does about half of that or maybe a little less than that. I figured that it couldn't have been that bad. So shredder stopped working. I decided to start working on taking the shredder apart to unjam the paper. So when I thought that I had gotten so far to have the papers all unclogged out of the teeth of the shredder, I noticed, and when I plugged it back in to attempt it again, it still wasn't working. And so I did the next best thing. I figured that I had the shredder for about a year. Warranty should be good, and all that kind of stuff. So I called the number, and gave them my information. They said, "Well, Mr. Helm, that shredder is more than a year old." And I'm like, "What is what?" And that just kind of signified that I have aged quickly. And so the shredder was more than a year old, and he said the best thing for you to do is to get a new shredder. Get a new shredder. Yeah, that's what he told me. So I said, all right, well, we're going to keep working on this thing. And so I worked on a little bit more along with my wife, and we were just so diligent at trying to figure it out. And so we called another little facility, a little small equipment repair. And the guy answers the phone. And he says, well, sir, he says, it's going to cost you $49 just for me to look at that shredder. And, by the time that's all said and done, and if I can't figure it out or I can't have the part to fix it, you might as well just buy a new shredder. So here we go again, purchase a new shredder. So it's funny because after we got everything cleaned up, I looked at my wife and I said, well, I guess this was going to be scrapped. And thus, today's midweek manna or end of the week manna was born. So what did I do? I looked up some definitions of scrap because that shredder was no good. As a matter of fact, the motor had fried itself, and then it also melted a significant piece of the plastic that actually was like a crank or turn inside of it. I did find that well after time, by the way. So I started thinking about this midweek manna, and then I went to the definition or definitions of the word scrap or scrapped. And it says to discard or remove from service, such as a retired, old, or an inoperative vehicle, vessel, or machine, especially so as to convert it to scrap metal. But there's another definition for scrap or scrapped, and it says to abolish or cancel something, especially a plan, policy, or law that is now regarded as unnecessary, unwanted, or unsuitable. And I thought about what the Lord did for us on the Calvary. Jesus scrapped the old law in favor of the new law. You'll get that in a second. That just made me leap on the inside. But what he did was in Romans chapter 5, reading from the Passion Translation, was a lot that made me think about how God didn't just scrap us, he did something to save us. Romans 5, first two verses from the Passion Translation reads like this: our faith in Jesus transfers God's righteousness to us, and he now declares us flawless, in his eyes. This means that we can now enjoy true and lasting peace with God, all because of what our Lord Jesus, the Anointed One, has done for us. We couldn't do anything for ourselves. We were on the scrap pile, if you will, before Jesus entered into our lives. But verse 2 says this: our faith guarantees us permanent access into this marvelous kindness that has given us a perfect relationship with God. What incredible joy burst forth within us as we keep on celebrating our hope of experiencing God's glory. My brothers and sisters, we weren't sent to the scrap pile. We were not unwanted. In fact, God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believed in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. God didn't sit us on the side of the road waiting for waste management or Kimmons to come by and pick us up and take us to the scrap pile. He didn't sit us on the side of the road waiting for the enemy to just do what he wanted to do with us. He sent his only begotten Son. And so we're not scrapped. We are saved. Thank you for joining us in today's Midweek Manna. If you would be so kind, please like, subscribe, and share this edition of Midweek Manna. And we certainly love and appreciate all that you do. You're not scrapped. And stop scrapping other people because we didn't get scrapped. Take care.